Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. In this video, I thought it would be interesting to go back a couple of years, 2021, and look at the list profile, and look at where we're at now. Because I see a lot of people talking about, particularly during the draft, if we had have not won the last couple of games, that we'd get in the top 5, we'd finish lower on the ladder, we'd get the top end talent, and maybe we should have, we've avoided bottoming out over the course of the last 10 years. We haven't fully gone bottom and tried to sort of rehash the list that way. But I wanted to go back a couple of years because I feel like we're kind of doing that anyway, but we're still winning games. And people think a rebuild, you need to lose games. You can rebuild and enhance the list while still being competitive. It is possible if you have a good structure, a solid game plan, and obviously a good coach and good coaching staff that can put these things into practice. So I've got up on your screen now, you'll see the 2021 playing list. It makes for interesting reading when you look at it. I can't really remember 2021, to be honest. I think that was, the year after we made finals, and it was a bit of a letdown. Obviously, Ratton survived 2021, survived 2022, and was sacked in October of 2022. So really, this is end of season 2021, 2022, 23 and 24. So it's like three or four off seasons of really hard work to get the list to where it is now. So it's interesting how, I don't know exactly how they grade these players, but you'll see when we look at where we're at now, the big difference in the grades and some of these metrics here. But according to this, Jack Steele was basically our only A grader, which is pretty much right. 2020, he was really, really good. And 2021, I think he was almost Brownlow favourite at one point going into that season. So him to be A grade, that makes sense. What I want to see is, okay, so here you go. Experience. We were third for experience in the competition. This is that's interesting. Age. Average age of 25.2, ranked second in the competition. Now, normally when you see teams that are sort of, especially now when you see Collingwood, you see Geelong, Brisbane, all of these teams that are on sort of the top echelon of the age bracket, they're competing. They're in the zone to win flags. I don't think anyone watching this video thinks that this team was ever a chance of winning a flag when you look at it. The makeup of it was just so wrong. We had limited youth, and you can see the amount of players in there that were from other clubs that just didn't work. I mean, he wasn't from another club, but that didn't work out. Ben Long, we traded, didn't play a game. Dara Joyce, I think he's still at Brisbane, so he's made a career, but didn't really work out for us. Jack Loney, gone. Dan McKenzie, gone. Billings, gone. Dunstan, Membry, Kent, Crouch, pretty much. On top of that, Seb Ross, Paul Hunter, Carlisle, Robertson, Hanbury, McKernan, Frawley, Geary, Ryder, all gone. And they were the top. They were the eldest in that crop. The bottom tier, let's see some of the youth that was coming through. Again, no disrespect. We're just looking at this objectively. I just want to see where this list was at the time, and why was I coming out on Saints TV and saying this team's going to win a flag? Because when you look at it now, to people that question where we're at now, go back to 2021. Look at the list. There was no plan to it. It was just a free-for-all. You just don't know what the strategy was because every player was different. At least you look at our list now, and we'll flick to it. There's identifiable strengths that complement every player across the list, and it complements the game plan that Ross wants to implement. He's all in on this game plan, and he's picking players to suit that. This was just a guessing game. This was just picking stuff blindfolded and hoping it works. Matty Allison obviously didn't stick around. Leo Connolly played a couple of games, looked pretty positive, didn't work out. Some of these players that are ranked like Ds and Cs, I'm curious to see where they are now when it comes to the 2025 team. But it just, was very skewed in like a lot of top ends. So let's go to games played that year. Games. I say so. Hill, Steele, Butler, Wilkie, Membry, Sinks, Dukes. Same old heads. Where are the young kids? So Kingy was probably the youngest, and Burns, King and Burns were the two youngsters that year. Caulfield as well. He's not here anymore. Battle, 22, not here anymore. Billings, 25. So there's a bit of a gap there. And then beyond that, so Connolly didn't play a game, I don't think. So no one under Burnsy, no youth, got games that year. We were very, I guess we thought we were in the now. We thought we were a chance. But there was nothing under it to come through. Like back then, I think everyone was just really excited about King. Like we were just obsessed about Max King and hoping he would be the new Nick Roywall and he'd kick 100 goals and we'd win a flag like that. It's funny now when you look at our list, there's about 7 or 8 players on top of King that you could be as excited for long term. Back then it wasn't. Same with Steele. Who was the A grader, really? Sinks was maybe coming on, but even then, he's graded there as a C+. So he wasn't hitting, he wasn't jumping out and dominating that year, I don't think, in 21. I think from 22 onwards, that's really when the trajectory kind of went up a notch. Ben Long, Claverino, Carlisle finished up, I think, that year. The list was just a mess. So I guess my point in this video is you don't have to finish bottom to know how to fix a list, to know how to put things in place to get things right, to give yourself a chance. And I've been chatting to many people and they talk about North Melbourne, they talk about Hawthorn bottoming out, doing this, doing that. You don't have to bottom out to draft well, to develop. And that's the thing. The development back then just wasn't there. Whereas now I think we have that in place for a lot of these players, which is why you see Ross playing Wilson every game, Filippo every game, Nasia's coming on. Next year it's going to be a Travalia, or it's going to be another player that we don't know that plays a lot of games. Garcia could be the one. He could be the Smoky. But that was the playing list in 2021. Now let's swing to 2025. Let's swing to now. This is the difference. So right now, experience has gone down to 10th. The biggest jump that I first see is age. 2021, we were the second oldest team in the competition. That's only 4 years ago. That's not a long time ago to make these changes. We are now the 4th or 5th. I think we will become the 4th, from what I've heard, depending on certain clubs picking up other players. But, we've dropped from 2nd to 14th in 5 years. That to me says we have gone all in on youth. All in. So let's go to this. So Jack Steele already, he's no longer listed as A. Obviously, this is just this website's opinion, but to me, it just kind of explains where this list is at outside of specifics of is he A grade or not. I think he is, but you get what I mean. Crouch obviously won't be there anymore. Nasia is already there. You'd think he's already probably in that A bracket for me, but you get what I mean. He's above Steele. McRae, Sinclair was C+ before. He's now A. Marshall was the same. Wilkie was the same. They are all A grade players now, which I think we all agree with. Now, the exciting thing that I see here, this is kind of the first I'm looking at it, is Darcy Wilson is already B. Filippo is B. Sharman was C- or C+ before. He's B. Owens is B. King, Higgins. That group there is from the age of 19 to 26. That is amazing to have that many players, especially Filippo, Wilson, Sharman, Owens in there. They're all 21 and under. Like, it's amazing. Oh, sorry, Sharman's 24, but they're all young. Then you've got a bit of that sort of experience. Burnsy in there staying strong. I think he can potentially go up, which is the exciting thing. A lot of these players back in the 2021 list, and this isn't just 2021 isolated. It's St Kilda for the last 10 years. players didn't really have much of a opportunity to grow because our list, we picked players from other clubs. They'd come in, they'd do a job, that's it. And then they would just slowly decline. And then we'd rinse and repeat. Get another player from another club, plug them in, couple of years of good football, then they're out. Whereas now, when you invest in youth, it's such a slow burn, but it's such a long time that you get them at that level you need them to be. And when you've got such a host of youngsters like we do now, like look at this. Hasty, Garcia, Carroll, Hall, Heath, O'Connell, Isaac Keeler, Patrick Said, Dodson, Boxshall, Travalia, Tyroo, Barrett, McLennan, Collard, Shawmaker. Like, so many of these players have ceilings that I'm really, really excited about. They could be anything from Garcia to Ari. These players can shape our future. We didn't have a list that was shaping our future before. Now we do. And they all have such transferable traits that make me really excited. They're all tough. A lot of them are endurance beasts. They're all good overhead. Obviously, Ross wants to have a big, sort of aerial dominance because that's an area that we've actually struggled in. When you look at contested marks across the competition, we are kind of on the bottom of the ladder on that front, which is surprising because you got a lot of good marks in King and Wilkie. You had Battle, Sharman, these sort of players, and obviously Rowe. That's obviously a focus, getting these sort of players in that, even if they're undersized, they're a good mark. And the experience in there is experience that is performing. When you've got Steele, Sinks, Wilkie, I wouldn't necessarily say he's on the older side just yet, but he is experienced. When you look at games, like games played, Brad Hill's the most experienced in the team, Jack McRae, and then it's a big gap. It's like 60 games to Sinclair. And then from that point on, it drops. From Max King down, that's where the future is. It's incredible to look at when you think of the picks that we've given up for these blokes. Like, we haven't had a top 5 pick since King. But to do all this work, Barrett 32, you got 53, 60, 44, 28, 62, 33, 50. We're doing a lot of our best work at the back end. Like, I know these were academy, but 47 and 33 respectively. Then you got Henry at 9. We traded in. So even that trade is really, really critical because in 2021, we were trading in players that were 29 for a lot of value. Liam Henry's not even hit his peak yet, and we've traded him in. So even the way that we're sort of looking at the free agency, I think is a lot different to how we're looking at in 2021, getting older players in. 2020, we know we got on end of 19, it was Butler, Paddy Ryder, Dukes and all that. That was a bit of a sugar hit. And I think the club knew that. That was a sugar hit. We enjoyed it, but it didn't set the groundwork for sustained success. It was just a couple of good years and then we dropped off, and then we had to kind of look at what we're doing again and have an internal review, and all that sort of stuff took place. To the point where now we can't avoid the draft. We have to utilize the draft and maximize. And that's why I get a bit frustrated when people say, oh, we should have lost the last couple of games because we missed out on the top tier talent. It's all about development. And ask Melbourne about tanking. It doesn't work. It's dumb. How could you tell players not to win, to play their best football? Like, it makes no sense. These players are going to get invaluable experience from that last 6-7 weeks. And then the ones coming in that haven't played yet are coming into an environment where second is last, If you're not first, you're last, basically, as Ricky Bobby said it in Talladega Nights, for any Will Ferrell fans. But it's a completely different look to a team. And like I counted it before from 2021, that's 28 players that are gone. 28 since the end of 2021 to now are gone. That's not just, a few tweaks. That is wholesale changes. That is a gutting of the list. We haven't done that. We've never done that. We're capitalizing on the picks that we've got. We're trading well and we're drafting well. And the important thing is we are developing. We are playing these kids. They're getting games, invaluable experiences. They're not sitting on the list and just waiting for their spot. Obviously, Max Heath is taking him a long time. In 2021, he was on 0 games. He's in 2024, 2025, things might change, but right now he's on 0 games. But by reports, there's a chance he can debut next season. I just think we need to continue with this journey. We're doing all the right things, and people weren't complaining in 21, about winning games. And I think we're in such a good position now compared to where we were. I think sometimes you need to have it in front of you to see the changes that we've made. We've dropped 12 spots in age, but our experience has only gone down like 2 games, which to me says exactly what you want. We're playing a younger team together. They are all getting games together, like Windy, Owens, like they're all getting up to 50, 60, 70 games. 55, Henry, Owens, 53, Windy, 52, Sharman, 49. Filippo's already got nearly 40 games. Caminiti's got 33 games. Wilson's got 23 already. Carroll's got 21 at Carlton. Garcia had 9. Hasty, 4. Let's move up a little bit. Even Burnsy, 63. Naz, 63. Stocker, 67. Paddy Dow. King, 83. I can't believe he's only played 83 games. Has he? That's ridiculous. I thought he'd played more. Like, even Clark hasn't hit 100 yet. So, not only are we playing more youth, they're playing together, and the experience that they're getting is invaluable, and we're not dropping off the scale in terms of experience. And I think that's the balance, isn't it? Like, the balance is getting the youth, but also having that foundation of the experience that are able to lead the way and to drive standards. Because you don't want to do what so many other clubs have done, which is rebuild for the sake of rebuild, but they get rid of all of their experience. They throw in a bunch of kids. They get blasted by 100 every week. Does that really mean you're going to just suddenly become a good team? You're going to build culture. You're going to learn how to win? No. And that's why I think it's a big watch on Richmond, because they've traded some experience out. They've got some experience in the team, but all of the kids that they've just drafted, there's no guarantee they're just going to all turn out to be guns, because they need to learn off players that are AFL established. And what I love about getting McRae and Steele finding form back into the year, and there's like Paddy Dow, who's been in the system for a long time. Stocker. Who else have we got here? Jimmy Webster, like Zach Jones, Butler. They're not the absolute A graders, but they've been in the system, and the kids come in, they learn off these players, they train with them. And then on top of that, you've got players like Filippo, Wilson, Owens, Windy, that are training the house down in their own time. That when players like Taru and Travalia and Barrett and Said and all these guys rock up to day one of training yesterday, they see the standard that it's not the captain setting, it's a 20-year-old setting. And that's the 20-year-old that they're going to work with and they're going to play with for the majority of their career. They're not going to play a lot of football with Steele and Sinks in their career, like in a nutshell. Their best football, when they hit their prime, is going to be when King, Filippo, these players, Nasaya, they're all hitting their prime. That's the really exciting thing. We're so far from 2021, it's not funny. But yeah, that's just a little video. I know it's a bit of a extended one, 20 minutes, but I don't know. I just find it interesting when people think that we're repeating same mistakes or we're not showing any progress. Just look at the numbers, look at the list, look at the type of players that we've got. 9-day, Saners. 9-day. So I'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for putting up with me for 20 minutes. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was a little bit insightful. I'd love to hear your comments. If you disagree with me, perfectly fine. Put it in the comments. If you didn't disagree, good on you. Please like, comment, subscribe. Nearly on 12,000. Hopefully more in-depth videos like these to come over the off-season. So appreciate your time, Saners. Take care. And as always, go you mighty Saners. See you guys.